Okay, here we have this equation, 3x minus 5y is equal to 30, and we're going to find out its x-intercept, its y-intercept, and also the slope, right? And let's start with this one right here first. What shall we do first? Remember, for the x-intercept, we have to let y equal to 0 and then solve for x, right? So be sure you remember this first step. Once again, whenever we're trying to find the x-intercept, we are going to let y equal to 0. Namely, we plug in 0 into this y in this equation and then solve for the x. So let's do it. Here we have the 3x and then minus 5 times this y, but now it's 0, right? So we plug in 0 into this y, and this is equal to 30. And as we can see, negative 5 times 0, this doesn't matter because that's just 0. So in other words, we have 3x equals to 30. And to solve x, you see this is 3 times x, so we will have to divide it by 3. So to cancel this out, and we do the same on the other side. At the end, we have x equals to 30 divided by 3 is 10. So you see that when x is 10, y is equal to 0, and that's how you should write down for the x-intercept right here, all right? So we put this down as a point. 10 for the x value, and then 0 for the y value, just like that. Now, moving on to the y-intercept. It's similar, but it's of course different. We are going to let x equal to 0 for the y-intercept. You have to remember the first step really well, okay? Once again, for the y-intercept, we have to let x equal to 0, plug in 0 into this x, and then solve for y. Here we have 3 times the x, which is now 0. And we will have the minus 5y, and that's equal to 30. 3 times 0 is 0, and this is negative 5y, and that's equal to 30. This means what? Negative 5 times y. We have to do what? Divide. Divide by what? Negative 5. Do the same thing on both sides, right? So let's go ahead and do that right here. This and that will cancel. Finally, y equals to 30 over negative 5, we get negative 6. And to write down the answer, x is 0, y is negative 6. So put it as a coordinate point, right? 0, comma, negative 6, like that. At the end, we have to find the slope. But in this case, we have two ways to do it. The first way is right here. Because we have 2 points already, we can use the slope formula, all right? And another way to do it is that you can write this equation because this is not in the slope-intercept form. If you write this equation into the slope-intercept form, then you can get the slope right away, right? After you have the slope-intercept form. I would like to show you guys the slope-intercept form first. So here's the deal. I will just tell you we are going to write in the y is equal to mx plus b form, all right? That's the deal. If we can do that, we'll get the slope from there, all right? So, to do so, we write down the equation, 3x minus 5y equals to 30. And your goal is to get the y by itself. Here, we have the 3x, so we are going to subtract 3x on both sides, right? Cancel this out. And you see, we will have the negative 5y, and that's equal to, let's put down the x term first. So we will have the negative 3x. And this is just a number. And that was a positive 30. So we add the 30 after that. And this is negative 5 times y. So we do what? Divide by negative 5. So that this and that will cancel. And be sure we do so on this right here as well. And likewise for this. Right? Divide everything by negative 5. And we will have y by itself. This is equal to negative 3 over negative 5. It's going to give us positive 3 over 5. And put the x on the side. At the end, 30 divided by negative 5 will give us minus 6, like that. So this is how you change an equation from, this is actually called the standard form, into the slope-intercept form. When you do that, you can see the slope right away, which is this right here. This is the m, okay? So the slope right here is just a number, 3 over 5. Remember, slope is just a number, right? The number in front of the x, like that. All right. Well, suppose if you wanted to do it with the slope formula, this is how you do it. But well done, by the way. But this is just another way to do the slope. Right here, you can just say this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. And we are just going to use the slope formula. I will show you guys this real quick here. So hopefully I have enough space, right? So the slope formula says when we have m, this is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is what? y2 is -6, right? So let's put down -6. And then minus y1 is what? y1 is 0, okay? And then over x2, x2 is 0. And then minus, from that formula, x1 is 10. So put on 10 right here. And on the top, -6 minus 0 is -6. Over, on the bottom, 0 minus 10 is -10. -6 over -10. You know the answer has to be positive. And we know 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Final answer is positive 3 over 5. And that's the same answer that we got earlier. You can comment down below and let me know which way that you guys like better. You either use the slope formula or write the equation in the slope-intercept form. But practice this, because this is the easiest way to graph equation if the question is asking you to graph. But anyway, that's it.